Hi betting experts, and now we're going to have a look at 5 Cheltenham contenders from the busy Christmas period. We've had some cracking racing at Leopardstown and at Kempton in the last couple of weeks. We've learnt a lot for the future. We've got 5 horses here I think are well worth following and could emerge as live Cheltenham contenders for the festival in March. We start off with Noob Negro. Now Dan Skelton had a terrific time of things over Christmas, firing in the winners at Kempton, having a terrific meeting at the top level, and this one showed vastly improved form to land the Grade 2 Desert Orchid Chase. Now, most of the attention focused on the disappointing and laboured display of the short price favourite Altior, who looked a shadow of his former self, struggling from halfway to lay up and only running on late to finish second. But this should not take away from the manner of this hard-held victory under Harry Skelton. He jumped and travelled really strongly on the soft ground, which was a worry to Connection beforehand. They previously thought he was best on good, decent ground. But he should strip a bit fitter for this first run. And the trainer reports he's best fresh, so we'll keep him out until going straight to the champion chase in March. Now, I don't think he wants really deep, heavy Cheltenham ground. He's a smooth travelling glider with a turn of foot. But if conditions are as they usually are in March, he could take an awful lot of beating. He's fresh, young and improving, and some of the rivals for this 2-mile division do look very old and jaded. I couldn't have Altior. He looks to be the shadow of the former horse he was, and Politologue has been beating the same horses for the last couple of years and won a really substandard renewal. Defi de Sol was tailed off first time out, the former champion, so there's a big gap in this division, and Noob Negro looks the one to fill it. Horse number 2 is French Asseel. Now, Elmarie Holden would not be a household name in Ireland by any means, and that might help with regard to getting a price for maybe the Triumph Hurdle for this 3-year-old. He made a really impressive debut, landing a wholesale gamble down from double figures to 7-2 favourite in an 18-runner Leopardstown contest over Christmas. He was useful on the flat in France, but he was an absolute revelation on the soft ground under Dennis O'Regan, barely off the bridle, in command before the home turn and winning with any amount in hand. He looked a top-class prospect. If he goes to the Triumph Hurdle, he's going to take an awful lot of beating, and he's very much one to follow. Horse number 3 is Appreciate It. Now, Willie Mullins was another yard who completely dominated the Christmas period. 6 Grade 1 winners at the meeting, quite incredible. And this unbeaten hurdler created a deep impression when winning by 9 lengths in a competitive-looking Grade 1. He was always jumping and travelling well under Paul Townend and sprinted clear when ridden after the home turn, winning with any amount in hand. He'd impressed when winning at Cork on his hurdling debut, and he's got Cheltenham form in the book, which is a big help. He finished second behind Fernie Hollow in the champion bumper last season. Now, it was thought that this one was going to head to the Ballymore and Fernie Hollow would be the candidate for the Supreme, but Fernie Hollow is now out for the season. So it looks like this one will head to the Supreme Novice, and he is going to take an awful lot of beating. There's more improvement to come. He's a straightforward ride. He's a natural jumper, and he's very much one to follow. Horse number 4 is Heros du Sale. Nicky Henderson, well, he had a pretty disappointing Christmas in truth, with both Altior and Epatante beaten at very short prices. There were excuses for both those. Altior reportedly had a bad scope, and Epatante was found to be in season afterwards. But this ex-French performer was a rare bright spot on the week, creating a really good impression. In a modest novice hurdle, it had to be said, but if you watch the run back, typically for Nico de Boinville at the moment, he was parked about 8 wide throughout, which seems to be the modus operandi of the jockey. Not riding with much confidence at the moment, in my opinion, and this one was parked right out wide, didn't jump particularly fluently, losing half lengths at the first 3 or 4 hurdles, and in a poor position really, but he ran on really strongly. He was about a length and a half down when left clear at the last. I think he would have won anyway. He flew over the winning line, finishing with running left in him. He's just the sort of horse Henderson's going to bring along carefully. He's going to have one more run at a modest level, but he could emerge as a real Cheltenham contender as his hurdling technique improves, and he'll certainly appreciate the stiff uphill finish at Cheltenham. Horse number 5 is Shambler, another Dan Skelton horse. Well, this one has been a revelation since going chasing. He jumps superbly. He'd been really impressive a couple of times at a lower level previously, notably at Wetherby when proving his stamina for this trip, but it was his performance in the Grade 1 Cato Star over Christmas that really did bring him forward as a leading contender. The key is he was harried on the lead this time. He got no soft lead at all. They were going hammer and tongs. 2 or 3 others took him on out wide. He kept jumping superbly and ran on strongly to fend off the strong travelling, the big breakaway after the last. He's basically a bold front runner, a straightforward ride, and is being aimed at the Marsh Chase in March, according to Skelton, who thinks that the RSA could be too much of a slog for him at this stage of career. He's very much one to keep on side of. Best of luck with all your anti-post betting experts.